Every storm is a blank page. What if the worst day of your life became the chapter everyone quotes? Picture a 30-year-old staring at divorce papers, hospital bills, and a pink slip, all in one envelope of fate. Now picture that same soul, 5 years later, signing books for readers who weep in recognition. Tonight, we follow the alchemical rebirth of Jonah Vale, who learned to edit catastrophe into triumph and turn scars into signatures. Jonah's collapse arrived on a Tuesday in October. He woke to his wife's suitcase by the door, note clipped to the handle. "I stopped waiting for you to choose us. By noon, the hospital called his father's heart attack, surgery uncertain." At 3:17 p.m., an email. "Position eliminated, effective immediately." Jonah stood in the kitchen, 3 documents fanned like a losing hand. The house smelled of burnt toast and endings. He was 30, broke, alone, and fatherless in every way that mattered. He drove to the hospital on autopilot. His father lay tethered to machines, eyes closed, chest rising like a question mark. Jonah sat in the plastic chair and did what any drowning man does. He bargained. "Take my job, my marriage, but not him." The monitors answered with steady beeps. A nurse entered, gentle but firm. "Family meeting in 20. Jonah fled to the parking garage. He punched the steering wheel until knuckles split. Then he noticed the blood. Bright, undeniable. He laughed, a cracked sound. "At least something in my life is still red." That night, he couldn't sleep. He opened his laptop and created a document titled "The Worst Day." Page 1. "Today I lost everything." He wrote until dawn, raw, unfiltered, ugly. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat. At 6 a.m., his father's doctor called, stable, conscious, asking for him. Jonah printed the pages, folded them into his pocket, and walked back into the ICU. His father's eyes fluttered open. Jonah read aloud, every brutal sentence. When he finished, his father squeezed his hand. "That's the first chapter," he rasped. "Now write the comeback." Jonah kept writing. Every hospital night, every eviction scare, every child support hearing he documented in real time. He called it the rough draft. No polish, no lessons yet, just facts and feelings in collision. The pages piled like evidence. 3 months later, his father came home. The house was half empty, furniture gone with the marriage, but the kitchen table held a new ritual. Jonah cooked spaghetti while his father read the latest pages. "You missed the part where the nurse cried," his dad said. Jonah added it. They began editing together, cutting cliches, sharpening dialogue, mining pain for truth. At 31, Jonah self-published the rough draft on a whim, print on demand, ugly cover, zero marketing. He gave copies to the hospital staff who'd saved his father. One nurse posted a photo. "This book held my hand when no one else could." Shares snowballed. Bookstores called. A literary agent DM'd. "This isn't memoir, it's survival in real time." Jonah signed a deal. The advance paid the overdue mortgage. He rewrote the rough draft into the comeback edit. Same events, new lens. Every tragedy now carried a footnote. Plot twist incoming. Readers underlined sentences like lifelines. Support groups ordered in bulk. Jonah's inbox filled with strangers' worst days asking, "How do I start my draft?" He launched the Red Pen Project, workshops where participants brought their catastrophes and left with chapter outlines. A laid-off teacher wrote about classroom ghosts. A widow chronicled grocery store meltdowns. Jonah taught one rule: never resolve the pain, resolve the story. At 33, the comeback edit hit bestseller lists. The launch was in the hospital auditorium, same plastic chairs, now filled with readers. Jonah's father wheeled to the front row, oxygen tank trailing like a loyal dog. Jonah opened with the bloodied knuckles, ended with the advance check framed above the stove. A teenager approached afterward, voice shaking. "My mom left. My grades tanked. How do I write chapter 1? Jonah handed her a red pen. "Start with the truth that hurts most, the rest follows." The tour became confession. In every city, Jonah invited audience members to read their raw pages aloud. A veteran described a firefight. A cancer survivor read her chemo diary. Jonah illustrated key lines live on an easel, turning sentences into sketches, the walls filled with collective pain made visible. At 34, Hollywood called. Jonah sold the rights, but kept final script approval. The film opened with the Tuesday envelope, slow-motion papers fluttering like ashes. Critics called it heartbreak in IMAX. Jonah's father attended the premiere in a tuxedo t-shirt that read, "Plot Twist Survivor." At 35, Jonah stood on the porch of the rebuilt house, new paint, same table. His ex-wife visited to drop off their daughter. She lingered at the doorway, eyeing the bestseller stack. "I read it," she said quietly. "I was the villain," Jonah shook his head. "You were the inciting incident." She smiled. "First time in years. Here's the red pen Jonah hands you. 1. Start ugly. Write the day in present tense, no filter. 2. Mark the bleed. Circle every emotion that stings. That's your gold. 3. Add footnotes. What did this teach me? Where's the twist? 4. Read it aloud to one witness. Truth sharpens in echo. 5. Revise for arc. Every low must earn its high. 6. Share before perfect. Rough drafts save lives. The greatest deception is believing your story ends in the wreckage. Jonah Vale now runs a foundation that mails red pens to hospital rooms, divorce courts, unemployment offices. His kitchen table seats 12, writers mid-draft, trading chapters like currency. Every new guest receives the same assignment: turn your worst day into chapter 1. The question is no longer, why me? The question is, what happens next?